Philip Lymbery, Farmageddon, The True Cost of Cheap Meat. Welcome to a journey through the alarming world of factory farming and the consequences it presents in Farmageddon, The True Cost of Cheap Meat by Philip Lymbery. By delving into this book summary, you'll reveal the realities of modern agriculture and the horrors of industrial animal farms, including the cruelty inflicted upon millions of animals, devastating environmental effects, and detrimental impacts on our health. Additionally, explore how factory farming contributes to resource depletion, such as water and oil scarcity, and the implications surrounding cloning and genetically modified organisms. This eye-opening account will challenge your beliefs about the true cost of cheap meat and the urgent need for change in food production methods.
Industrial agriculture's dark side. The romantic notion of idyllic, diverse farms is a rapidly fading reality, as industrial agriculture's merciless efficiency has taken over. Gone are the days of employing farmhands, as machinery fills their roles and just 8% of England's farms tend to more than one animal type. Factory farming, characterized by intensive practices and machine-dependent handling, is responsible for raising 2/3 of the world's 70 million farm animals. Our insatiable appetite for milk has led to the creation of megadairies, housing up to 10,000 cows in one facility. With the first megadairy appearing in California in 1994, the state now boasts 1,620 such industrial-scale operations, together containing 1.75 million cows and generating $6 million of annual milk revenue. The egg industry, too, has succumbed to the relentless drive for lower costs and higher output. Overcrowded factory farms, housing hens in confined cages, now produce an astonishing 60% of the world's eggs. Factory farming's dark side. Factory farming, a relatively recent method of food production, comes with a range of disastrous environmental consequences. Massive amounts of animal waste generated by these farms lead to both water and air pollution. Waste from megadairies, comparable to the waste from entire cities, is stored in artificial lagoons which often leak, consequently contaminating water supplies and posing a threat to human health. In addition, polluting gases and nitrates released from animal waste lagoons severely degrade air quality. This contributes to a higher prevalence of pollution-related illnesses, such as asthma, in areas near factory farms. As a major source of ecological destruction, factory farming's impact on our environment has far-reaching implications. Unraveling wildlife havoc. The rapid expansion of factory farming is causing severe damage to the environment, specifically to local wildlife. Traditional hedgerows, once responsible for dividing smaller farms and providing a habitat for birds and bees, have been eradicated in favor of larger-scale operations. From 1980 to 1994, a shocking 100,000 kilometers of UK hedges disappeared, leading to a decline in bird and insect populations. The excessive usage of fertilizers in factory farms further disrupts the natural food chain for birds, as earthworm populations suffer due to the harsh chemicals. Similarly, nitrogen fertilizers inhibit the growth of clover, a crucial food source for bees. The devastating impact on wildlife populations is evident in the United States, where a quarter of the 1,000 bird species are endangered, with several bee species disappearing entirely since the 1990s. Bees, essential for pollination and agriculture, have seen such a decline that 1/3 of agriculture now relies on imported bees for pollination. Shockingly, the UN estimates that approximately 63% of the world's food production depends on bee pollination. The loss of bees and the subsequent lack of pollination have forced factory farms to import them from other locations. For example, Californian almond growers order a staggering 40 billion bees yearly from Australia. However, as the bees' natural habitats are destroyed to pave the way for more industrial farming, there will be no more bees to import. While this summary has focused on the terrestrial consequences of factory farming, the negative impacts on aquatic life cannot be ignored. Examining the devastating effects of industrial farming on our oceans is a vital exploration to understand the full extent of this ongoing environmental crisis. Fish farms, unseen miseries. Our planet's water houses millions of fish, with a large portion living miserable lives in industrial fish farms. These farms are vastly different from the ocean, with fish crammed into crowded cages, often 50,000 per enclosure. Trout, for example, experience a density of 60 kilograms of fish per cubic meter of water. This cramped environment results in a higher vulnerability to lice and diseases. 10 to 30% of farmed salmon die before being consumed. With around 100 billion fish farmed annually, the scale of suffering far surpasses combined livestock numbers. Fish farming is not only detrimental to farmed fish but also harms marine ecosystems, as fish meal production for animal feed decimates tiny fish populations. These smaller fish provide sustenance for birds and other marine life, so depleting the supply results in devastating consequences for oceanic ecosystems. In Peru, the world's leading fish meal producer, seabird populations plummeted from 40 million to 1.8 million due to the mass killing of anchovies for fish meal production. The illusion of space-saving factory farms. Contrary to popular belief, factory farming doesn't save space. While animals are confined to smaller spaces, the land required to grow their feed is immense. About 1/3 of the world's cereal grains and 90% of soy meal are used to feed factory-farmed animals. This contributes to the loss of grasslands and forests, especially in developing countries. Moreover, the grains produced for these animals could feed 3 billion people, underscoring the wasteful nature of factory farming in a world plagued by hunger and malnutrition. Factory farming gives the illusion of space efficiency by confining animals into cramped quarters. However, these animals still need vast amounts of feed, leading to the large-scale appropriation of land. In turn, grasslands are replaced with fields of soy and corn, often at the expense of local ecosystems and communities, especially in developing regions like sub-Saharan Africa and South America. Not only does this disturb local habitats and populations, but the food produced to sustain factory farms could drastically alleviate global hunger and malnutrition. By repurposing these valuable resources toward human consumption, we could feed billions of people instead of perpetuating an inhumane and environmentally destructive practice like factory farming. Factory farming drains resources. Unbeknownst to many, factory farming not only uses staggering amounts of water, but it also depletes oil reserves at an alarming rate. Approximately 1/4 of the world's freshwater is used to produce meat and dairy alone, with each kilogram of beef needing 90 bathtubs of water. Producing meat consumes 10 times the amount of water per calorie than vegetables or grains, and at current rates, global groundwater reserves are depleting twice as fast as in 1960. In the U.S., modern farming techniques utilize 6.3 barrels of oil per hectare of crops, with 2/3 going towards fertilizers, pesticides, and agricultural chemicals. However, organic farming proves more energy efficient, utilizing nearly 40% less energy for milk and beef production. Furthermore, a switch of just 10% of U.S. corn production to organic could result in an annual saving of $143 million from 4.6 million fewer barrels of oil consumed. Factory farming's hidden costs. While factory farming appears to provide cheap food sources, the reality is far more damaging. The growing demand for livestock feed elevates crop prices, which attracts commodity speculators who hoard grain, driving prices even higher. This often results in poverty and famine. Within 6 months in 2010, 50 million people fell below the poverty line due to rising food prices. Furthermore, as developing countries embrace factory farming, negative consequences like increased oil consumption, wasted water, and pollution escalate. Traditional rural farmers pay a significant price too, as they are forced to adopt the demanding industrial farming techniques. The high-pressure conditions have led to devastating consequences like the suicide belt in Maharashtra, India, where over 250,000 desperate farmers have taken their own lives since 1995, unable to cope with the relentless stress. Hidden dangers of factory-farmed meat. Factory-farmed meat has adverse effects on human health, from fostering antibiotic-resistant infections to contributing to obesity. The cramped conditions in these farms allow diseases to spread and mutate quickly, leading to millions of food poisoning cases each year. To counteract this, animals are given antibiotics causing pathogens to develop immunity, resulting in 25,000 deaths annually in the EU from resistant infections. Moreover, factory-farmed meat often contains a higher ratio of unhealthy fats, contributing to widespread obesity and related health issues like heart disease. The harrowing truth about factory-farmed meats doesn't stop at the inhumane treatment of animals. This industry has far-reaching consequences on human health too. Crowded and unsanitary farming spaces create ideal environments for harmful bacteria and viruses to flourish, causing animals to become infected and weak. Alarmingly, human consumption of such infected meats can lead to severe health problems, demonstrated by the 9.4 million cases of food poisoning in the United States every year, with a notable portion stemming from Salmonella and Campylobacter bacteria. Apart from disease transmission, farmers often pump antibiotics into their animals in an attempt to prevent illness. This practice has led to the rise of antibiotic-resistant pathogens that threaten human health. Once these resistant bacteria infect a human, treating them becomes exceedingly difficult, leading to a staggering 25,000 deaths annually in the European Union. While antibiotic resistance is a pressing issue, factory-farmed meat also plays a significant role in the obesity epidemic. Such meat contains a substantially unhealthier fat composition compared to organically raised alternatives. In fact, research from Professor Michael Crawford in 1968 revealed that factory-farmed meats have a 50-to-1 ratio of harmful to beneficial fats, while their organic counterparts maintain a healthier 3-to-1 ratio. Consequently, the consumption of factory-farmed meats exposes individuals to higher risks of obesity and associated ailments like heart disease. The clear solution to these myriad health risks is reducing the intake of factory-farmed meats. A UK study in 2009 illustrated the benefits of this change, showing that a 30% reduction in saturated fats from meat could result in a 15% decrease in coronary heart disease rates. GM grains, Boon or Bane. The world is on the brink of a food crisis as global food supplies must increase by 70 to 100% to meet our needs in 2050. Genetically modified, GM, grains could help address this problem. For instance, golden rice, a GM grain high in beta-carotene, has the potential to save 1 to 2 million lives annually by preventing vitamin A deficiency caused by malnutrition. However, GM crops also pose significant challenges, such as promoting the use of potent pesticides that can damage the environment and causing genetic drift that harms traditional farming. Currently, GM crops have a limited impact on the food crisis, as they are primarily used for animal feed rather than human consumption. About 40% of U.S. corn is used for animal feed, with 85% of it being genetically modified. Moreover, only 30% of calories from animal feed end up as consumed human calories in meat form. Cloning, profits and ethical issues. Dolly the sheep marked the beginning of cloning, raising the possibility of creating superanimals and consequently higher profits. Cloning promises better results than selective breeding. Cloned animals inherit the prized traits and helpful mutations directly from their parents. However, this practice raises significant animal rights concerns. For instance, cloned animals bred for extreme traits often suffer due to their pushed physical limits. Moreover, the cloning process itself is messy, with a low success rate and frequent occurrence of deformities. Apart from cloning, other disturbing genetic modifications include featherless chickens and cows manipulated to produce human-like milk. China's booming pork industry. With over 1.3 billion people, China has a strong appetite for meat, particularly pork. Chinese individuals consume an average of 34 kilograms of pork each year, surpassing the British average of 25 kilograms. Major Chinese food corporations recognize the profitability of industrial pig farming. Muyuan, one of China's largest pig farmers, aims to raise 9 million pigs annually by 2017 using such techniques. Some farms even import high-yielding, selectively bred sows from Western countries, paying around £330,000 for a 9,000 kilometers journey on Boeing 747 airplanes. These pigs are highly valued for their large litters, leading to increased meat production and profit. However, industrial pig farming in China isn't without controversy. In 2011, it was discovered that some farmers injected pigs with the steroid clenbuterol, resulting in 300 people getting poisoned from contaminated meat. Additionally, China's dairy industry faced a scandal in 2008 when toxic melamine was mixed into milk to falsely increase protein levels. Despite such incidents, malpractice in food production remains widespread, and consumers are increasingly demanding more information about their food sources. Transforming food production. To address the global food crisis, we must first tackle food waste, which consumes significant resources and contributes to worldwide hunger. The U.S., for example, wastes an estimated 30% of its food supply. Reducing waste would save vital resources and feed more people. In addition to minimizing waste, adopting traditional farming methods can improve sustainability. Non-industrial farms raise cows on grass, not only converting inedible food for human consumption but also reducing the need for resource-intensive grain. Traditional farms also help maintain soil health, crucial for addressing soil erosion, which impacts a third of the world's arable land. By re-examining our approach to food production, we can work to ensure a more sustainable and productive global food system. Reducing waste should be our starting point, as it not only helps feed the hungry, but also conserves precious resources. Currently, a staggering 28% of agricultural land worldwide is used to produce food that ends up wasted. If we could reduce this waste by half, we could provide for an additional billion people and conserve water resources for billions more. In addition to minimizing waste, embracing traditional farming methods would contribute to a more sustainable food system. For instance, non-industrial farms raise ruminant animals like cows on grassy pastures, which allows them to convert inedible grass into consumable meat and milk. This means that these animals don't require resource-intensive grain or fish for nourishment, further conserving resources. Another benefit of traditional farming practices lies in soil preservation. With soil erosion affecting approximately a third of the world's arable land, it is critical that we protect our soil health to maintain productivity. Traditional farming methods, such as crop rotation and free-roaming animals, naturally maintain the balance of nutrients in the soil. This approach reduces the need for chemical inputs and fosters long-term sustainability. In summary, transforming our food production methods by reducing waste and embracing traditional farming practices can greatly improve the efficiency and sustainability of the global food system, ensuring that growing populations are adequately nourished. Unleash your consumer power. Embrace your influential role as a consumer to transform food production. Make mindful decisions and buy traditionally produced products to increase their profitability and popularity. Stay informed with clear labels showing content, origin, and traditional rearing practices for meat. In the United States, opt for grass-fed, beef and animal welfare approved, global animal partnership, or certified humane chicken. Beware of misleading labels like farm fresh or all natural. Choose animal welfare approved milk and eggs. Understand that government policies like subsidy programs may contribute to factory farming, and change requires collaboration, lobbying, and determination.
As you conclude Farmageddon, the true cost of cheap meat, you are now equipped with the knowledge of the numerous negative impacts of factory farming on animals, human health, and the environment. The solution lies in reducing food waste, reviving traditional farming methods, and empowering consumers to make informed and conscious choices about the products they consume. With that power, we can shape the future of food production and work towards establishing a greener, more compassionate, and sustainable approach to feeding the world. This book serves as a wake-up call for each one of us to recognize our responsibility in making a difference for a brighter, healthier future.